I'm taking notes.
Thank you, everybody. I'm John Fenstermaker, Director of the Chapel Concerts. Welcome. We have never had an event quite like this, and I'm so happy to see you here, and I'm so happy that Aaron Reichert, who is the tonal director of Taylor and Booty Organ Builders, is with us today to tell us all about the organs in general, and this specific organ. So please welcome Aaron Reichert.
Thank you, John. As you said, I'm Aaron Reichert. I'm the Vice President and Tonal Director of Taylor and Booty Organ Builders, and we built this lovely organ for y'all in 2001. I'm afraid to tell you all, I'm a details guy, and I am so sorry. I'm sure there's going to be some bits you're like, why is he talking about that little bit of something here and that little bit of something there? And I do apologize straight away for all the minutia and all the little things. If you are, push your glasses up, a nerd about pipe organs like me, I'm your people to talk to, and I will try to keep it engaging and interesting for everybody, and not just the detail-oriented folks like me. So, first thing to say is, this organ, what a color, what a case. It is Virginia black cherry, gorgeously colored. You see the carvings in facade. You see all of everything here. We've got almost all of the woods that we use. We like to use native woods to where we are, or woods from where the client is. Sometimes, good example of this is our Opus 83 that went to Plymouth, Indiana. There was a tree, basswood tree, on the campus there they had to get rid of it, and we're like, no, we want that tree. They cut it down, sent it to us, we cut it up, turned it into carvings. We love to do that. We love to use native woods and make beautiful, beautiful woodwork. And this organ is just absolutely one of the, and I get to say this because I wasn't here when the organ was built. I came to Taylor & Booty in 2005, and so this was 2001. We have tin front pipes in the facade. We have, which is a lovely 8-foot principal. I thought we would sort of just go through the organ. We'll talk about the case. We'll talk about the pipes. We'll talk about the sound. I can demonstrate. And John Fenstermaker, our lovely organist here, has consented to play some music for y'all, and I thank him very much for that. So, organs in general are, you think of really, really big ones. Y'all been to Atlantic City, New Jersey? Largest pipe organ in the world, 33,000 pipes, totally insane. Takes up one end of the whole building. This takes up an end of the whole building, but it's not quite as many pipes. We got just under 2,000 pipes in this organ. And you'd look at it and you'd think to yourself, well, there's only 100. How many there in facade, Aaron? There's not that many, but there's a lot more packed inside here. And we can see, it sort of works in the German Werkprinzip, which is, you can see where each division of the organ stands. So at the impost level here, we have the grate, which is manual 1. So there are 3 manual keyboards. Manual 1 plays the grate. Manual 2, right above it, plays the Oberwerk, which is, you can see the star at the top and those pipes right there. The Oberwerk is contained right inside there. And the 3rd manual division, played from 3rd keyboard, is in the Brustwerk, and they are pipes directly behind these doors, which is fun. And you can actually see all of the bits of the organ inside of there too. Wind chests, wind lines, roller boards, all manner of things. So we build things that are mechanical. Some of the biggest organs in the world, you couldn't possibly build them mechanically. You've all seen or heard of Rube Goldberg machines, yeah? All these linkages and things that move motion from over here to over there and up high and down low. And we have that in the organ. So each key of the keyboard takes motion that the player puts in and moves it through a series of squares and backfalls or rollers over to and underneath where the pipes are for that division. So it's kind of a mechanical marvel of 500 years ago. And it's maybe not as impressive today as it was back then. Back 500 years ago, organs and clocks were the absolute tip-top of the mechanical, technological marvels of the time. And so we build organs that are very much in keeping with those principles. Time has marched on. We have all manner of electric doodads and devices and things, but sometimes though you can use them to good effect, sometimes the effect is that it actually takes a little bit of connection away. And so one of the things that Taylor & Booty really loves to do is to make organs that connect the organist to the instrument. So I'll give you an example. An organ that is an electric action organ, you press a button on a key on the keyboard, it sends a signal to a pipe way somewhere over there, and it'll play. And that's fine. Good technology, we love it. But right here with these guys, we can take and press a key, and you're actually opening the valve directly under the pipe with your finger. And that nuance, that character of how the wind enters the valve, goes to the pipe, you can feel and you can control. I don't know, y'all probably drive cars, driven cars. Some cars, the steering, you turn it right, it sort of vaguely goes over that way. You turn it left, it vaguely goes that way. And some cars, You turn the wheel and you go, ooh, I can feel the road and how the texture of that road goes as you turn right, the weight transfer, all of those things. The same is true with a mechanical action in a pipe organ, or can be. So this is what we strive for. We strive for an organ that is really, really connected to the player. And through that connection, the player can then give more music to the audience. So it's, ever been to one of those concerts where you're just, the band or the organist or whoever it is that's up on stage playing just has this absolute magic. There's that thing, you can hear them in absolute communication with their instrument, with their bandmates, however that ensemble is. That's what we're looking for, and that's what's so special about a truly mechanical action. So, we should actually not hear me talk the whole time. We should hear some of the organ talk some of the whole time. So, I'm going to go through and just demonstrate a few things, let you know what you're listening to, what department of the organ it is, and we'll have a little show and tell of each of the sounds and the different families that the organ has. So, sorry to turn my back on you. I'm still with you. The first thing to do is to play the principal 8-foot, which is the facade pipes you'll see right at impost level, right here on the grate. Relaxed, calm, singing. These are all the things that we want to have. So this is the first sort of family of the organ stops, and it's the one that's unique to the organ. The organ is kind of the historical synthesizer of its time. So there's lots of different sounds we'll get to that are all different, but this one is the one that's unique to the organ, the principal 8-foot. And it's the basis for all of your hymn singing, for congregational song, for in church, and you can build from there. So the organ not only has, I said principal 8-foot. Y'all can count. You know where we're at. So if I were to say that we have another stop that's in the same principal family, but that is half the length, you'd say, oh, that's a principal 4-foot. Yeah, and so the principal 4-foot plays 1 octave higher. This is a theme. There won't be a test, but you'll notice. So octave 4-foot goes on top of the principal 8-foot. Building. So we're building choruses is where we go from here. And so this theme continues. We have a super octave 2-foot that goes right on top of there. We even have another one called a mixture that comes on top of this. And this one is not just one set of pipes. What we've heard so far has all just been 8-foot principal. That's one set of pipes. 54 pipes, one for each key on that lower keyboard. Octave 4-foot, another 54, 2-foot, etc. So now we have a mixture. Mixture is 4 ranks, which means 4 sets of pipes, all played off of one key. I'll just play it for you, just the one. That kind of sounds weird by itself, doesn't it? But you can hear there's 4 different pitches in there. And we can build from our 8-foot to the 4, to the 2, to the mixture. This all stacks on top of itself, so you got lots and lots of pipes all playing together, all making that, maybe stereotypical organ sound. Yeah, toccata and fugue in D minor, Bach, yeah, that's the one. That's your organ sound. Those are the principles. That's all, and what we at Taylor and Booty do is based very much in the German Baroque tradition. So if you think about the Hamburg area of Germany in the 1700s, sort of J.S. Bach's time period, that's where we take our inspiration from. That's what these scales, and that's what the sound of the organ lives there. J.S. Bach was a little bit farther south in Thuringia, in sort of central southern Germany, and he took a trip up to Hamburg area to go visit a famous organist at the time. And so he would have gotten to know organs that were not dissimilar from these guys. We like to think the music of Bach is really well, maybe not the most perfectly authentic, but very, very close and similar. Sounds really nice on organs that are at home in the Baroque of North Germany. So from here, we've explored our principal chorus on the grate. We also have more than one manual, obviously. And so we have a principal chorus that lives on the positive, which is, again, this is the one that lives right up top here. So it has that star at the top. Y'all heard the star? I love the cymbals turn. Isn't that fun? And it spins, rings bells. How fun is that? That's the dessert counter right there. You're just having fun. It's a cymbal stern. In German, would be Bell star. So excellently literal right there. So we got bells and we got the star. So the next division that I was coming to up there is the positive. We have a principal 4-foot. So again, we're going to be 1 octave higher than unison pitch here. We can build on top of that with an octave 2-foot. And normally we're going to have an 8-foot anchoring that, but there's no 8-foot principal in this division. It's a shorter division than what you see down at impost level. So we got an 8-foot gedacht up there, which I'll explain what those are in just a second. But here we have the 8-foot gedacht on the bottom, 4-foot principal, octave 2-foot. Isn't that sparkly, fun? And it's great because you have that there, and you have your principal chorus down low, and you can jump back and forth between the two. Come from a little bit of different spot in the organ, a little bit different volume level. And we can keep building from there. We also have a mixture on top here in the positive. Real sparkly and bright over top of everything. We could put it all together, but I think we're going to wait for that. So let's jump into, that's the principal family. That is the core of the organ, really. That's where the organ starts. That's what makes it. And historically, that's where the organ came from. It was the Blockwerk, which is that whole chorus that you heard from 8-foot principal to mixture would have been all played by itself and nothing to stop it until the invention of stops. And y'all have heard the expression, pull out all the stops. Yeah? Yeah. So we have here stops, and these were one of the inventions in the medieval, that you could take that whole big organ sound and, let's be a little quieter. We don't need to have all that sound all the time. Let's have just that 8-foot principal. Isn't that lovely? Want to have that sound sometimes. And so in the medieval, they started stopping parts of the organ off, adding, I'm so tempted. I wanted to get into the nerdy details. It's a grid matrix, folks. The organ has a big grid matrix, one axis. Oh, we're in math class, I'm so sorry. One axis on your x-axis here, you've got your keyboards that play that way, and on your other axis, you've got your stops that stop here. I won't get into it, I promise. I won't bore you all, but you turn off the stop, it turns, or turn on the stop in this case, and it opens up the holes underneath your set of pipes that goes across the organ this way. And if you press a key, it opens up a valve in the wind chest that lets wind into that channel going this way. Big grid matrix. I knew math would do me good one day. So, next thing we've got going is the next family of pipes we're going to talk about are the flutes. And the flutes are lovely. Flutes are just, they're some of the most prettiest things. We've got a bunch of different ones here on the organ. Ooh, I neglected to mention with our first flute, we're going to start not at the unison pitch of 8 foot, but we're going to go 1 octave lower to 16-foot pitch. So this is a Borden 16. This is some of the lowest pitches you'll hear. And this is not the loudest one of this pitch, but I really like this stop. I'll say that. Isn't that just charming? I don't know. It sounds like my grandpa telling me a secret or something. I love it. So that's a flute stop. The Borden is sort of narrow and skinny. Some pipes are kind of wide and round. Most flute stops have a very large scale. So given their length, their diameter is really, really large. And that gives them that wonderful foundational warmth. So we've got this Borden 16 it's got a little bit of little speech to it. We have a gedacht 8 foot up here. Isn't that nice? We've got that, has that a little more breadth to it. And then we have a gedacht 8 foot made out of oak inside the Brustwerk here. Let's close the doors on this one, huh? We can have it just be a nice, sweetie pie little echo. Isn't that adorable? Just sweetheart, nice little flute sound. So you have in all 3 departments here, we have in the Brust, in the Great, and up on the Positive. So those are our flutes at 8 foot pitch. Nice and lovely. We also have flutes at 4 foot pitch. And we can, let's see here, we can add to them. They're fun to hear by themselves though. There's a Spitz flute on the Great. Now, Spitz flute is meaning it's conical in shape. So this pipe, instead of looking cylindrical in the body up there, is actually tapered. So it comes from a wider lower part to a very pointy small top part. Nice little brightness there. We come next to the Rohrflute 4 foot, which this one I think is the most German of all stops, because not only in its name does it have an umlaut, but the vowel, pretend these pipes are people. I like to actually think of them as people, because I voice them all day and I say, all right, pipe, you need to sing as beautifully as a choir director would ask of any person in their choir. And so we voice them so that they have not an ugly vowel sound. Nobody wants to hear a haw or a from their choir. What are you going to do that for? That's terrible. But you can ask them to sing an ah or a even. So here's your Rohrflute, and I think it has a little bit of a sort of sound. Yeah? No? Yeah? A little bit. All right. So the last flute we have in 4 foot pitch is in the Brust again, and this one is also made out of oak. So we like to do lots of, our company loves wood. And John Booty, one of the founders, is the wood guy in all of the, he writes articles for the International Society of Organ Builders journals, is a frequent poster to Facebook of large board footage of lumber from our sawmill. He's a wonderful guy and loves this white oak, particularly nice. If you do end up coming up here and just taking a peek in there, you'll see the medullary rays, the fleck in that wood on those pipes in the back there is just, I mean, I wouldn't eat it, but it does look so tasty. So tasty. Here's the block flute 4-foot. This is open wood. So, and what are you going to do with that 4-foot flute? Ooh, you're going to build it with your 8-foot. So we got to hear what they sound like with your 8-foots. We'll jump back and forth between the 3 divisions. I love flutes. Aren't they nice? Flutes are just, they're one of the best. I think organists all say, oh, I want all the flutes, more flutes. So we've got principals on all divisions. We've got flutes on all divisions. The next thing that we're going to come to is the string tone. And you remember how I said that the organ is the original synthesizer. So we've heard the original sound of the organ. We've heard the synthesizer. It sounds like a flute, maybe not imitative, but evocative, if not imitative. So we've got some strings, and we're also going to have to put on your imagination cap here for the strings, because they're not imitative. They're not super pungent and acerbic. They're much more mild, but you'll hear first here with the viol da gamba 8-foot, and then I'm going to add to it, it's called voce umana, and it is a Celestine stop, and it gives you an undulation, so very appropriate down here by the ocean. We've got waves of the sea. Undamaris literally meaning waves of the sea. So here's the viol da gamba first. Maybe you can imagine a string orchestra playing gently underneath all of that. Isn't that pretty? Just a beautiful little a gentle string quartet going on there, or maybe gentle string orchestra. So we have our principals, we have our flutes, we have our strings. Now we're getting to the sort of the last major group for the organ, which is the reeds. So all these ones that we've heard up to now are all flues. They all work like whistles. Oh, I want to nerd out. I want to tell you all about how whistles work. So, very briefly, so you can see the organ up here, and maybe even better if we can come down and show you in person. So, John very kindly brought some of his own pipes and things, and so you can all see. The pipe has a few different pieces, 3 major pieces to it. First is the body of the pipe, which is this cylindrical portion here. It has the foot of the pipe, which is this conical portion down here. And then inside of there, between the body and the foot, there's a third portion, which is the languid, which is, it doesn't sound like a body part, does it? Sounds Latin. It is Latin, and it actually is a body part, because it's, I don't know, Pange lingua? Anybody know? Anybody? Lingua? Languid is Latin for tongue. So you quite literally have a body, a foot, and a tongue. And then the mouth of the pipe, we call it the mouth, is the opening which has the tongue inside of it. And there's a little windway, a little slit in between the languid and the foot of the pipe. And it makes, when you blow through it, it makes air come through, which is cut by that upper lip of the mouth. So, still body parts. These are all little choristers. These are little people, in my mind, if only. So we're teaching our little choristers how to sing beautifully. We're going to say good vowels. We're going to have mouths open. We'll cut them up to whatever height we feel like is the right height to get that vowel tone that you want for it. And you can have that air sheet from the windway, cut that upper lip, sets up of an oscillation that flops in and out, in and out, in and out of the pipe. That vibration is seen by the pipe, the length of which says, I am this frequency. That's a lot, right? I'm almost asleep. Boy, that was, whew. All right. So, length of which says, I'm this frequency. So we can change on this one. This one actually has a little extra, has a tuning slide at the top of it, which is a more modern tuning apparatus, which works really, really well. I'll explain to you why I'm a Luddite and why we tune without them. But first, we're going to change the pitch. This is fun. So let's just slide that guy a little farther out. Totally different pitch. So the length of the pipe says I'm this frequency. And the diameter of the pipe says I'm in this family group. So I talked about the principals. Principals are the pipes that are sort of normal, in the middle scale. The flutes are big and wide and give you that wonderful, rich, full fundamental and beauty. And the string stops that we just played on, those are the ones that have that sort of more keen, narrow sound. And they're, again, a narrower scale. So all these different families and pipes have their own attributes. So you can see how one could play with, say, if I had a nice, beautiful, big room like this, I could have some nice, moderate, maybe a couple of big scale stops, something to make it just fill the room and feel, on those Christmas and Easter occasions when you want the whole place to really feel the energy, that's nice to have. And then some really nice petite scale stops like we have in the Brusvik. Am I saying it? Is it called echo? I might be mislabeling this division, this third manual. I think it is called echo. But sorry to confuse folks. So we've seen how the pipe works. We've seen the three different different string, principal, and flute tones from the organ. And we can now look to the next set of pipes that work nothing like a whistle. They work like a clarinet. And those are the reeds. And so on this organ, we have, let's see here, we got a trumpet up here on the grade. We have an oboe in the echo, and a dulcian up in the positive. So this is, we should just hear them, shouldn't we? Should we hear them? Yeah, all right, we'll hear them. So, trumpet. Dulcian. And oboe. So you can hear each of those, and that one, those show up pretty well where they're coming from, don't they? You can hear the different levels of the organ a lot more directly with those. So yeah, those are the, there's another one, sorry, and I've forgotten the pedal reeds. But you have I want to talk about the different timbres and tones you've got from there. So you have a bigger, broader trumpet on the grate, which is nice. It'll go with that chorus. It'll go with everything. John used it beautifully for that trumpet fanfare and what you heard at the very beginning. The dulcian is a different sort of a reed in that the trumpet is inverted conical. So its pipes look like a funnel, and the dulcian up above is cylindrical. So they are more like the pipes you see in facade. The oboe you can see here is. Take one out and show you all. Why do we do that? Should we take one out and you want to see it all? See it all up close? How fun is this? Nobody gets to take the organ apart, right? Oh. So the oboe is a double cone. And so you can see the lower cone is a lot narrower, and it goes to an upper cone that's a lot wider at the top. And so the way the reed works is that you have, like a clarinet, you have a tongue or a reed. At the very bottom here, it's lying on what we call the shallot, which would effectively be the mouthpiece of the oboe, or of the clarinet, rather. And the tongue vibrates on top of it. I can play it. It doesn't sound like that when it's in the organ, does it? Well, you suck backwards through it, and it'll vibrate that tongue. So you have the tongue making that vibration. You have the resonator amplifying and exerting its own pitch, because it's its own length. It has its own resonant frequency. And so that resonant frequency and the frequency that the tongue is making work together, and they say, aha, I'm this pitch. I'm going to play this one. And it's a little bit of a combination of both. And so the reeds, you might have heard of organs being like, oh, the organ's out of tune. We need to have the organ tuned. And oftentimes, those reeds are so out of tune. And maybe not here so much, but lots of organs end up, well, even here, everywhere, the reeds will have to be tip-tapped. And you can see a tuning wire on top of that reed. And so you can move it seasonally when the temperature changes. Because, oh no, I'm so sorry. I was about to do it again. I was about to get so nerdy. I was about to tell you all about the density of air columns within funnels and within pipes, and I won't do it. I promise, I won't do it. We'll put that guy back. I'll make sure it's in tune. I promise. All right. So, we might need to hear a little tune here pretty soon, John. I think, yeah, everybody's, we're all doing okay. I have to make sure my time is not too much, and but this is how to say.
Okay. I would like to play. Can you hear me? Yeah. I would like to play excerpts from a couple of soft Bach pieces. And the first one is called Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring. And as you may know, there's a keyboard for the feet. I'm going to close these. So I'll be playing this with my feet. And then with my left hand, I'll be playing on a flute. And then I'll be playing another flute. And then with my left hand, I'll be playing on this keyboard. So, feet. Now I'd like to play a piece also by Bach using two solo reed stops, the oboe and what I call the clarinet.
That's the note that I took out.
That sounds sort of like a clarinet, doesn't it? And then the pedal and flute. So these are the three. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the tremulant. When human beings sing or when a violin plays, there's a vibrato or tremulant. And the organ doesn't naturally have that. So there's a note that can sound longer than anybody could sing it. And it sounds almost like a sine wave. Stravinsky called the organ the monster that never breathes. So organists have to pick up their hands once in a while. And medieval organ builders thought, how can we make this sound more human? So they invented a little machine that shakes the wind. Now, if I play a bunch of notes at the bottom of this, it might shake the wind. Did you hear that? Well, they've got a machine that will do that. Hear that? Now turn the tremulant off and on. Off, on, yes, you hear that? Okay, I'll just play a little bit of this. This is the funeral cantata, and it was from a Bach cantata. It's called the funeral cantata, but it's beautiful. It's played at weddings a lot, but they don't tell you it's from the funeral cantata, of course. E. Power Biggs translated it very freely. I stand at the threshold. It's called an arioso it's a Sinfonia to Cantata 156. I stand at the threshold. But the original German title is Ich stehe mit einem Fuß im Grabe, which means I stand with one foot in the grave. Well, now I'm not going to put that on a wedding program. So we put I stand at the threshold, presumably of a great marriage. But music is so subjective, isn't it? So here's I Stand at the Threshold by Bach. Feet. I'll just play a little bit of the three parts. Feet and the great flute, opposite flute. And then I'll add the solo oboe. Now I'll play with the clarinet on the solo.
Thank you so much, John. It's beautiful. Can I pick them? Like, I could have chosen any other note except for one that he was using in there, and now I have to go back and tune it. That's, but that was beautiful and beautifully done. I want to make sure that I have some time for some Q&A for all y'all to ask questions about that, but I do want to mention a few things before we do that. And one is that being that it's the 24th anniversary of the organ, 25th anniversary of this beautiful chapel, that we have some pictures here that we printed out. I wanted to do a big PowerPoint presentation, show you all the huge pictures, but this was what we could do with light from the windows, and that's the way it works here. So you can all come up and see these guys. I wish you could see, I would point out all these folks, but you can see the Sarah Grove Humphreys is one of the folks that was working there then, hooking the action up there. You can see the case being built. There's Chris Bono and Emerson Willard, and there's even a few people. Emerson Willard still is working for us at the shop. There are, I think, three people, maybe four, that worked on the organ that are still working at Taylor & Booty. I will have to tell you that three of them are of retirement age and said, we're going part-time, we're going to hang it up here soon. So there's not too many folks left at the company who did get to build this lovely instrument. So you can see, come up and take a look. There's Fender Douglas here playing with Sherry Shull and Sarah Grove Humphreys right there. Bruce Shull voicing some reeds up in the pedal. I didn't even get to talk about. There's a whole other department behind the organ of pedal pipes that are up there. Why don't I just open it up to the floor here? I don't know if y'all could tell, but I could genuinely talk about this all day long, bore y'all to tears, I'm sure, but yeah, it's such a treat for me to get to come down here and to talk about something that is just so near and dear to my heart as pipe organs, and that we build to the very best of our ability, to the glory of God, and to, I think, really for these situations, to engage with people, to show folks beautiful music, and to get to hear that, to get to listen to somebody who's really passionate about that, and to connect with that. And that's, what a gift, what a thing, but I think it really is kind of about this. That's what it's for. Ma'am. So I can't speak exactly on this one, but an organ like this in that time would have been about a year, maybe 14 months, 15 months project to start to finish, and we build them in our shop from scratch. So how much would it cost? How much you got? It's pretty well. I don't know what this one would be exactly today, but if you'll look at like the organ clearinghouse website, they list used organs from all of that. They talk about organ pricing, and
I can answer.
John can answer.
This organ new in 2001 cost $900,000, and of course it'll last for centuries. And replacement value is over $3 million.
Spendy. Yeah, ma'am. Yes. So the pedal keyboard is the fourth division on the organ. So you got the 3 manual keyboards you play with your hands, and the fourth is a pedal board, and you play with your feet. It is laid out exactly the same as a manual keyboard in that you have C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, all the keys that you're used to, but they're spaced out. I can tell you, these ones are exactly on 60 millimeter centers, and not that you need to know that, but that's what they are. Oh, yeah. And so this set of pipes that you're hearing is called Violone Boss, and I have the distinct honor that my wife, Kristen Booty at the time, Reichert now, she made those pipes. They're 16 foot long, all the way in the very back of the organ. That's some pedal reeds there, yeah. That's probably a question better for John to answer, but the reeds need to be tuned pretty seasonally, generally. We build organs that have parts that are exceedingly long-lasting. The oldest, I think it's the oldest organ in the world, or one of the oldest anyway, is in Sion, Switzerland, and it dates from 1435. The mechanism is not so different from what you got right here. So with proper care and maintenance, no water, don't add any water, but all the good taking care of, they last for centuries, genuinely. There's not much to wear out. What will wear out is there's leather on the bellows that are behind the organ in the room back there, and those will need to be replaced, so you do need to do maintenance for sure. But all of the mechanical connections, the keys, the way they attach, all of those things are super long-lived, which is one of the reasons why we really love to build organs that are rooted in that style, is because they last. And as a former employer of mine said, John Brumbaugh said, that the organs we build, any good farmer should be able to look at that and figure out what's wrong and fix it. The mechanisms need to be simple. Ma'am.
Can you show us easily how you're going to tune the one pipe?
Ma'am, absolutely.
That got untuned?
Be still, my beating heart. So, this is going to be tricky, but watch. I think we're good.
That's yours. Yeah.
So right there, all I'd had to do is take that tuning wire and move it just a little bit. Shame on me for taking that pipe out to show you all, but I wanted to show you all what it looked like. So we got it all back in tune right now. And so, yeah. Let's see, we got, yes ma'am.
How was this transported and built when it arrived at Bower Chapel?
So you'll be able to see some of that here on the photos. So we'll transport it generally in either a tractor trailer and pack it up. So organs are built, they're kind of like a Lego set that only goes together one way. So you can take the whole thing, we build it all in the shop, we tear it all apart, we pack it up, all this beautiful casework gets wrapped up with packing blankets so it doesn't get destroyed in transport, and put into a tractor trailer, or sometimes if it's smaller, we'll use a Penske truck and drive it ourselves, and we'll take it to the chapel. It'll get set out on the floor, and we'll set the floor frame, lower case, waste molding with the brustwerk in there. The impost will go on top, and the upper case will build right on top of that. So it's all just like it's like a Lego set without any instructions. You just those organ builders just have to know.
Does that mean that you may have answered my question, are all the pipes always put in the same location?
Yeah, they sometimes get mistaken and out of order, and they get put in, and you go, oh no, because you play through it and you go, well, that doesn't sound right, and you find the pipe and you go ahead and change it back and put it where it's supposed to live. Ma'am.
Are there enough young people interested in making and playing organs to carry us on? Also, do men and women play organs?
Very excellent question, and the answer is that today we're seeing more kids in school playing organ than has been the case in the past, which is wonderful to see. There's not as many people going into organ building as there once were. There used to be huge factories, and there aren't factories anymore. And the future for organ maintenance is we need organ maintenance techs like everywhere across the whole country. We are in dire need of that. Folks to just take care and tune and maintain, do all that good work. And we do need, I think, We have builders. There are builders today, enough to supply that. It is a shrinking industry. There are many churches that shutter their doors, and disused organs are at 24 per dime at this point. But that's not to say that I'm pretty optimistic about the organ building that's going on today. Not just ourselves. Like we do good work, but our competitors, our friends in the industry, on a whole, we've not seen work being done with as high a quality as is being done today. Folks the art is here, and maybe we're scraping by because we're making such good art, but we're making great art, and churches are getting organs that are built excellently well, meant to last for generations. And I don't know, it's hard to put a dollar. I mean, organs cost what they cost because we have to eat, but it's hard to put a proverbial industry-wide dollar figure on what that's worth. It is worth so much.
I've got a question.
Oh, who's got it? Yes, ma'am.
What does the term tracker organ refer to?
Ooh, this is good. Tracker organ. So the tracker is quite literally the mechanical linkage that goes from the key up to the valve in the wind chest. And it's, in this case, a piece of wood that attaches the key. Again, this is the whole Rube Goldberg machine through a series of convoluted corners and different distribution systems to go up to the valve to open in the wind chest that has the pipes right over top of that valve.
All right, one more question. Style.
Style.
Your style is, or this style is the German.
German Baroque is the inspiration, but we are not making slavish copies. We are building modern instruments for modern times with modern values that people ask for. And to say that we're building historic organs is absolutely wrong. We're building new modern organs, but we are heavily inspired by the tenets and values that make those great hymn-singing organs of North Germany still ring in our ears. How much of our hymnody comes from then? All that Genevan Psalter, all the good Lutheran chorales. There is so much that we sing in church that really harkens to those days, and that those organs are so good at bringing to life and bringing people along with. I think it's because they don't shout you down. My own maybe personal 2 cents about it, but like the organ sings with you, at least in when we do our job really well. The organ should sing with you, should uplift you. You should be able to hear that tinkle sparkle of the mixtures over top of you that gives you that really nice pitch definition. So you go, oh, I know what note to sing. And you should have that warm undergirding from that violon bass, from the sub bass, from that low pitch level in the pedal that gives you that rhythmic integrity that really helps you to know, here's the pulse. So I got the pitch and I got the pulse from all of that. And so there's other things that the organ needs to do, that Viol de Gamba and Celeste, to do offertory and beautiful moving music that allows people to cry and to feel that warmth, and to be able to then come together and raise your voices with that principal chorus in joy and in that I don't know, in the thing that brings us all together, the one that carries us, the one that says, I got your back, that I'm with you. We got so many questions. Right here, sir.
About the pipes itself, what can you tell us there? Because they really make the music and not the frame of the organ. So who makes the pipes?
We make the pipes. We are fortunate to have our own pipe shop, and so we will buy, they're lead and tin alloys, and so we'll buy the ingots of lead and tin, and we will do 3 different alloys pretty much. So you have the front pipes, which are tin, so they're bright and shiny, and those are about 80% tin on those guys. And then you'll have a lot of the inside pipes, those mixtures, those sort of bright upper works. Those are all 28% tin alloy, so mostly lead. And then you have the high lead ones, like those, the roar flute on the grate. Is it the roar flute on the grate? I'm pretty sure that's the one that's high lead. And so that one will be 98% lead. You have to notice that it's 98%, not pure lead. If it's pure lead, it will collapse. So it's important to have some of the tin in there, and also has some of the historic impurities. But boy, I'm getting into the weeds now, aren't I? Ma'am.
We were once fortunate here several years ago. I think it was, somebody said it was the tuner, came and pedaled it for us and played. Maybe John played with him, but without the electrical.
Without the blower.
Yeah. And you could see him back there pedaling. He wore his tennis shoes, and he just, it was quite beautiful.
Yeah, oh, it's wonderful. That's one of the unique things about organs, and being as crazy as we are about that, is that we love the wind to be raised by hand when possible, or by foot in this case. And so there's the bellows that are up behind the organ, behind that wall. There are 3 of them, and they have foot treadles on them. And you can have a person stand up there and lift each treadle. You can play this organ in the dark. No electricity required. We are zombie apocalypse proof for music from this organ. We're good.
How are the bellows functioning? How do you, I mean, it's not electric, but how do they function?
So the normal function when we have all of our modern conveniences is to have, there's an electric blower that will spin and raise wind into those bellows. The bellows then will regulate the pressure so that it's nice and pretty steady out here at the organ. And you can do that with either the electric blower, or you can go up there and turn it off and pump it by foot. And so you can raise the wind human-powered, which is great. Fun historic fact that organs all used to be doing that, and we still build them today that way. It's fun to be able to do that. And not even just in 2001. We in 2021, the Wheaton College organ that we built, that organ had foot pumpable wind. So it's still a core tenet and a love of ours. Got anybody else? Sir?
My brother's child was chartered when he was like 12 with a musical to mine. He couldn't add a quarter but he could play rock and things like that. And one day there was a mom and got away from the mother. She only played the piano, beautifully. And she was terrified, so now it's 6 months. Another storm raced up there, and there he was sitting with an elaborate organ, playing the organ. Now, he wasn't perfect, and he was making little mistakes.
Sure.
And he corrected. And it made me think, is there a propensity, if you know the piano, to be able to play the organ?
Oh yeah. Oh, the piano and the organ have the keys are very similar. Lots of kids will come on over and play the organ from starting with the piano. Hard to reach the pedals if you're a short person, isn't it? There are ways down there. So generally older kids that will come to the organ, and we love it when they do. There's a whole American Guild of Organists has pipe organ encounters just set up for kids to come and find out about the organ and start to play them and do all those things. And yeah, we love to support that. That's a totally fabulous thing. We are over our hour. I am sensible of your time, and I would stay and chat with any of y'all, but maybe we'll round this out here. And please come look at photos. Please come talk to me. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here with you all. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you for playing.